Hey, Soul Tribe. Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in another Soul Saturday session. Today, we are going to discuss a topic that I talk about often here on this channel: rewriting our story, breaking out of cycles and loops, limiting thought patterns that hold us back. This is a tool that I have added to my own personal toolbox because it works. So today we are going to dive into cognitive therapy, not just in the clinical sense, but in the energetic sense. So add this tool to your toolbox and I can guarantee that it will change your life. So grab a pen and paper, cozy on in, save this video, come back to it, take mental notes, because this is doing the work. This is rewiring the brain so your life can shift in ways that you never thought possible. So if you feel like that monkey mind of yours sometimes replays out an old story or an old loop, then this session is for you. Now, what is cognitive therapy? Cognitive therapy was developed by Dr. Aaron Beck, and it is based on one powerful truth. If you can change the way that you think, then you can change the way that you feel and live. It teaches us that our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviors are all connected. They're all intertwined. So if I am constantly telling myself that I am not enough, I'll feel anxious or sad, and I'll act in ways that reflect those beliefs, like playing it small, self-sabotaging, or even people pleasing. But here's the good news, Soul Tribe. And that's why I want this to stick with you. This is why I want you to come back and revisit this tool often, because we can shift those patterns. We can rewire the mind to support the soul. So I want to share with you some common distorted thoughts, aka mind traps. These are a few that can play out as patterns in our lives. Chances are you currently have this loop playing out in your own life, or it's been a story in the past. I also call these the sneaky saboteurs. First off here, catastrophizing. You've all done it from time to time, or you know someone who is constantly catastrophizing situations, right? Worst case scenario, like everything is going to fall apart. Another one is black and white thinking. If I'm not perfect, then I'll be a failure. This is one that I've struggled with, especially being a Libra. I can tip those scales from one side to the other, where I can become very black and white. And so this tool has helped immensely shape my thoughts, shape my story, so I can live life to my fullest. So it does work, Soul Tribe. Another one is mind reading. Sometimes we feel like we know what other people are thinking. And yes, we can read energy and we can read cues and body language, but I'm talking about the big picture here, saying things like, they must think I'm annoying. Before you even walk into a room, you have this thought of, they're not going to like me, they're going to judge me, right? And so we tend to assume what other people are thinking about us, and that can be a mind trap, right? Another one is over generalizing, saying things like, this always happens to me, or I don't have any luck, right? We've heard the saying, if it wasn't for bad luck, then we wouldn't have any luck at all. Or we tend to say, all men or all women are the same. They're all going to hurt me, or there's no good ones out there. There's no good ones left, right? We tend to overgeneralize. Does any of those sound familiar? The first step is awareness, because once we see these thoughts, we can start to shift them. And again, adding this tool to my own personal life, I am on top of it. When I have a thought that creeps in, whether it's a negative thought or it's some form of self-judgment, I immediately catch myself in that pattern. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, Mel. Would you talk to your best friend that way, right? Would you talk to your child that way. So when we start to catch these thought patterns, we can rewire and reprogram them. And that is what I want to share with you today. I want to break it down into bite-sized pieces because we know that these things are possible, but we don't always know how to do it, how to do the work here. So again, the first step is awareness. And then the next step is reframing the narrative. So let's walk through a cognitive reframe together. So let's say the thought is, I should be further along by now. Whether this is in your career, maybe it's in your relationships, or maybe it's on your, health and exercise diet or regime. You may be saying, I should be further along by now. Ask yourself, is that 100% true? Or is it based on comparison or pressure? Who taught me that my worth is tied to progress or productivity? And what's a more balanced and self-honoring truth? So this is the reframe. I am exactly where I need to be for my deepest healing and becoming. My journey doesn't follow a timeline. It follows alignment. This is where healing begins, right? Not in rushing ahead, but in changing the story that we tell ourselves about it. Ding, ding, ding. That is the key. So why I love this work is it because it connects to the body, the chakras, and the nervous system, right? The parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest. The sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight. So when we shift our thoughts from fear to safety, our nervous system calms. Then our heart rate softens. Our solar plexus, also known as our power center, our powerhouse, it lights up. And then our third eye opens up to truth, not trauma. This is sacred work. It's not just mental, it is energetic as well. So I want to share with you some tools that can really help you dive into cognitive therapy. The first one here is creating a thought journal. Now, I'm a huge advocate of journaling. I've always been someone that's, written things down, whether in a journal, a diary, or I like to see things on paper. So it can be notes, it can be lists. So if you are someone who can resonate with that. I mean, you can even use your phone app, your notes app on your phone, or if you have a pen and paper and a journal, then use some of these tools here. So the thought journal, basically it could look like this as well. It can look like this, a thought log, where in one column it has the event, the next column, the thought, then the feeling, the behavior, and the alternative response. So again, it's the situation or event or even trigger, the thought, the feeling or emotion, and the behavior that it caused, and then we reframe it. So for example, in column 1, the trigger or situation. So what happened that stirred this strong emotional reaction? Let's say that you posted something vulnerable on social media and it got maybe less engagement than usual. And then automatically the thought creeps in behind it. And that thought that popped into your head could be, no one cares, or I'm not good at this, or I should have stayed silent. And then we fall into our emotions, right? What emotion did that bring up for you? Was it shame? Was it rejection? Was it fear? And then rate the intensity of that emotion on a scale 1 to 10. Maybe you felt rejected. That's high up there on the list. Maybe that's an 8 or even a 9. Perhaps you felt shame that you had posted something vulnerable and you were the only one in the world that's ever felt that, right? We tend to tell ourselves these stories based on past experiences that we've gone through. And then we can ask ourselves, right, what's the evidence as well? What's the evidence that's for or against this thought? So for example, the post didn't get much interaction, But you can challenge that by saying, well, wait a second. People DM me all the time saying that I've helped them. One slow post doesn't define your worth. So once you reframe that thought, I want you to go back and re-look at that emotion. So an alternative thought here can be, what would my higher self say, right? What would my higher self say? My work matters even when it's not seen. It can be, the right souls see me, they feel me. It's okay to rest and trust. It's okay to be vulnerable and know that my worth isn't coming from external validation. So we can reframe, we can take a look at what challenges that thought. That is key. And then again, revisit that shift emotion. Is there a sense of relief with that new thought that you have tied to it? Is there a sense of courage, a sense of groundedness? And then rate that new thought that brings in that new emotion. So the next thing is Socratic questioning. Yes, it is a term coined from Socrates, right? The ancient Greek philosopher, and it refers to the methods of asking deep questions, guiding people to arrive at a truth of their own. Asking yourself questions such as, what evidence or proof do I have that tells me that this thought is true? What would I say to a friend who had this thought? What's the worst that could happen and how likely is it? And what would my higher self or inner guide say about this? So don't be afraid to ask yourself some of those deeper questions. Now, number 3, the core belief healing. And this is where things get interesting because we often hear, change your thoughts, change your life. And like I said, it's more than just forgiving, or it's more than just going back and understanding where it came from, but there's some extra added pieces that I want to share with you today. So tracing the thought back, when did you first start to believe in something? Whose voice is it, right? Whose voice is telling you that? Is it society? Is it mom? Is it dad? Is it an ex? Is it, someone has connected with you in some way, or society or an event or situation that has helped you create that thought. And it's important to release it with compassion. Now, how do we truly release a core belief? Releasing a core belief isn't simply saying, I forgive you, excuse me, because that belief once served to protect you. It formed in a moment when your body, when your heart, or even your inner child needed safety. Instead, release it gently and in layers. And I'm going to show you how here. Name the belief and trace it to its roots, right? What's the core story underneath your fear and pain? When did you first start believing in it? And then I want you to feel it in your body. Where does it live? I want you to close your eyes here. And I want you to notice, what area of your body does this come up in? Is it tightness in your chest? Is it a knot in your gut? Is it a lump in your throat? This is where healing begins. And I want you to validate that part of you that needed it, right? Validating that part. Tell that version of you that you were doing your best, that you believed in that to survive, right? And you can honor that. And I want you to speak to that version of yourself with love. Reparent, not reject. That is the true core as well when it comes to shadow work, right? Reparenting with love, with compassion. Offer the words that you wish someone would have said to you back then. Like, you are safe now. You belong. You're not alone. You are still lovable. Release with rituals such as writing, burning, breath work, shaking, right? TRE, trauma response exercises, or cry it through. You can, talk to a therapist as well about this. You can create rituals that not only get it off of the mind, but it's something physical that you can partake in, that you can do, such as, writing some of these thoughts down on a piece of paper and burning them, throwing them into the fire. And then let your body participate in the letting go process. Energy must move to leave, right? You can even dance, right? You can dance to maybe reframing a new belief here and shake it out and just get moving. That physical ritual can make a huge difference. And then replace it with a new truth that honors your soul. Choose a belief that feels empowering, even if it's just a whisper at first. Anchor it with breath, movement, and mantra. Revisit it daily with compassion and affirmation. Healing happens in repetition, right? I think they say it takes like 21 days to get down a new pattern or a new habit. So give yourself some time. Something that we do is we give up. We give up too early. We give up before the good starts to take place, whether that's exercise, whether that's our diet, and whether it is reprogramming the mind. This is going to take consistency. Let it become your new default, right? Speak to your truth like a new prayer, because when it becomes our default, it means we can fall back into that belief, right? The good belief, the one that expands us, not limits us. This isn't about erasing your story. It's about evolving it with love. The old belief served you once. Now it's safe to let it go and rise. Now the next is affirmations and embodiments. Don't just say, I am worthy, right? This is where affirmations get a little bit of, a struggle, because people say affirmations don't work for me. That's because they're not following through with the steps that really activate affirmations. So don't just say I'm worthy. I want you to feel it. I want you to move with it, meditate with it, dance it out. An affirmation is a conscious, present tense statement of truth or intention. It's a way of saying to your subconscious, this is who I choose to become. This is the new vibration that I am putting out into the world, into the universe. But here's the key. The affirmation only works when it feels believable, felt, and integrated, not just recited, right? We got to feel into this. That's why vision boards as well. We can slap down any old thing on a vision board that we may want to manifest, but the key is really making that believable and feeling into it. Now, common mistakes with affirmations, saying things like, things that feel fake, right? Examples, I am wealthy, when you are constantly stressed out about your rent, right? It's like, wait a second, I do not feel like that is real, right? Sometimes that fake it till you make it attitude is not actually beneficial. We recite it without feeling because we're stuck in that feeling of fear that we're not going to make ends meet, that we're not going to be able to pay rent or our bills. We don't include our body, our breath in it. We skip that inner work that clears space for new truth. So how to make affirmations work? Here's a layered way to do it. Body, mind, and soul, and nervous system aligned. Now choose a soul aligned affirmation. Pick something that resonates deeply, not something that feels forced. Instead of I am fearless, try it is safe for me to move forward with fear and faith, right? With fear and faith, because it's not the absence of it. Because we live in this dual world where fear is present, right? Fear is present in our lives, and we will go through these challenges, but we can move forward with fear and faith. Instead of saying, I am successful, say, I am creating success in a way that honors my soul. And ask yourself, what do I need to hear most today? What part of me is longing to be seen or softened? And I want you to speak it with your body. Affirmations are the most powerful tools when they are formed or paired with somatic cues, such as, action, purpose, your hands over your heart. Even prayers, we put ourselves in that prayer position. Deep inhales and exhales can create signals of safety to the nervous system. Movement like stretching and swaying. A lot of you may be people who constantly move, like sway back and forth. This is something, even as a child, I would rock. That was my body's cue of calming my nervous system. And we tend to clasp our hands. We tend to, use these somatic tools that can help soothe our parasympathetic nervous system. Mirror work, I talk about this one often. It is so important. Mirror work brings the statement face to face with that inner child. This can be profound. And I've had a lot of people have major breakthroughs when doing the mirror work. It can feel very silly at first, but it does return you back to a place of love, such as, looking in the mirror, looking into your eyes and telling yourself the stories that are based in truth, right? New stories that are based in truth, but they're not even new. It's a part of you that has always been. It is you being lovable, knowing you are lovable, and knowing that you are worthy. These are all true statements. And then, of course, dancing or shaking, it really liberates stagnant emotions tied to limiting beliefs. That's why one of my other favorite tools is TRE, trauma response exercises, because it's crazy to me how the body just starts to shake involuntarily, and we can release and move so much through, that practice. But yoga and energy healing, there's so many different forms of energy healing that we can utilize as well. So as you say, I am safe to be seen, look in the mirror, breathe deep, and touch your solar plexus and your throat chakra. Anchor it with breath and visualization. Use breath to pull the affirmation back into the body. Inhale, receive the affirmation. Exhale, release the resistance. Visualize the words wrapping around your energy field. And another tool that is used in this scenario is emotional freedom tapping. That can also be, activating the centers, the meridians in the body, but it's that physical touch piece that can help you realign. So emotional freedom tapping, EMF, if you are familiar with that or if you want to go deeper, visualize those words wrapping around your energy field, seeping into your cells and lighting up your chakras. I want you to say, I am worthy, right? Gold light glowing in your heart. I trust myself, root chakra pulsing with red grounding energy. And then repeat it through ritual. Make it a daily devotion, not just a motivational trick. And here are some ideas for you. Whisper your affirmation before bed or as you wake up in the morning. Speak it aloud in the shower or during your walks. Pair it with tarot pulls. What affirmation will support me today? Journal it 10 times while listening to calming music or binaural beats. Record yourself saying it. This is one that I've used as well. A lot of times we have recorders on our phones. We can record this affirmation and play it back. So if you have a thought that your voice isn't very good or you don't like to hear your voice, this could be a perfect time to reprogram that and allow yourself to record a new affirmation, a new thought, and listen to it, because it's so powerful to hear yourself, to see yourself, because that helps you get in touch with the you, right? The real you, Soul Tribe. Record yourself saying it and play it while you're doing dishes. Play it while you are, driving. The more your nervous system hears it in safety, the more it starts to believe it. And then let action embody the affirmation. Words must eventually become acts of embodiment. If your affirmation is, I am worthy of rest, then take a real break without guilt, right? I trust my intuition. Act then on a gut feeling, even if it scares you. My voice matters. If that is true for you, speak up, right? Create or share your truth. Each time you act on the affirmation, you recode your subconscious. It's no longer just a belief, it becomes a way of being. And then, of course, Oracle and Tarot reflections, one of my personal favorites, of course. But if you like to pull tarot cards or if you have Oracle decks, work with that tool and ask Spirit, right? What limiting belief am I ready to release? And ask your soul's truth. What wants to rise within me? Now, here are some more examples, okay? These are more examples that are going to help you rewire a real thought and belief. And these are ones that are very common, but they're also ones that I have struggled with myself. And these are reaffirmed responses that have really helped rewire and shape my own life. So number one here, I'm not enough, right? Maybe you felt that at times, I'm not enough. The trigger or situation could be that you've been rejected. You've been maybe ghosted, not being chosen, maybe going back to being in line in gym class, standing there in line, and you were the last one that was chosen to be a part of a team. It can be comparison online, right? The trigger or situation can be around any of those situations. The automatic thought is I must not be good enough, right? They're not choosing me. They're not noticing me in some way. I'm being rejected. I'm being ghosted. The emotions that are tied to that could be shame, sadness, or defeat. Sensations in the body may include heavy heart, right? Sunken belly, even slumped posture. The reframe here, my enoughness was never up for debate, never. I am not here to be perfect. I am here to be real. That's you, Soul Tribe. You are here to be real. The affirmation, I am enough even in my becoming. And the embodiment cue, right? This is your body. Reframing that new thought. Stand tall with one hand on your heart and one on your solar plexus. Breathe deeply into your center. Feel your spine realign with your work. Stand up taller. Show up in the world. Show up in ways that you never thought possible. This is a huge one that if you start today, if you make this a consistent new thought and you reprogram this, I can guarantee it will change your reality. Yes, it will. Another one is, if I show the real me, I will be rejected. This can be a big one in relationships. It can even be for content creators, right? The trigger or situation could be speaking your truth and maybe feeling misunderstood or ignored. The automatic thought is, I should have kept quiet. I ruin things when I'm vulnerable. Emotions of fear, regret, or self-blame can be tied to that thought. Body sensations include tight throat, clenching of the jaw, burning in the face or ears. The reframe is, not everyone will understand me, but those who do will feel me fully. They will love me fully. My truth is not too much. The affirmation, Soul Tribe, it is safe to be seen, safe to be heard, safe to be me. And the embodiment cue, look at yourself in the mirror. Speak your truth out loud. Place your hand on your throat and exhale. Let your voice vibrate love into your energy field. Now, here's one that I hear often. It's one that I've told myself from time to time, but it's something that I've really worked with because I want to create abundance in this lifetime. I am creating abundance in this lifetime. So sometimes the thought can be, there's never enough, right? Scarcity or lack mentality. If this is you, take notes. The trigger or situation could be looking at your bank account, seeing unexpected bills pile up, or seeing others thrive while you feel stuck. The automatic thought is, I'll never get ahead. I'm broke. I always have to struggle. The emotion can be stress, shame, fear, powerlessness. The body sensation can be tightness in the chest, shallow breaths, clenched jaw, tension in the lower back or gut, right? Even the root chakra centers. Where did it come from? Maybe you grew up with financial instability or seeing caregivers constantly worry. Maybe love and survival were linked to struggle, hustle, or even self-denial. This is the reframe. This moment does not define my future. My worth is not tied to my balance. I am open to new ways of receiving. And the affirmation is, I live in a generous universe. Yes, we do, Soul Tribe. It doesn't always seem that way, but we do. My needs are met. I am open to more than enough. And the embodiment cue is stand barefoot or sit with your feet grounded. Visualize those roots going deep into the earth. With every breath in, feel abundance rising up through you, your legs, your hips, your womb, your heart. Say your affirmation aloud, gently swaying and rocking. Two more here. People always leave me, right? That's a big thought people have, right? People always leave me. It could be a relationship that has ended, distance from loved ones or family members, or maybe you have been, again, ghosted. The automatic thought is, I must be easy to walk away from. I must be unlovable. Emotions around abandonment, grief, or unworthiness tend to come up. Body sensation, cold limbs, sinking in the heart, heaviness in the heart, tension in your hips. The reframe, the ones who left made space for those who are meant to stay. That's powerful. Those who left made space for those who are meant to stay. I am not abandoned. I am becoming realigned, right? I am being realigned. The affirmation is, I am safe, supported, and chosen by souls who honor my depth. Yes, that is the truth. The embodiment cue, wrap yourself in a blanket or a self hug. Sway gently, breathe into your back and root chakra. Remind your body that you are not alone. We need that now more than ever. You are not alone, Soul Tribe. And then lastly, I always mess things up. I've heard this one from time to time. It's not one that heavily stands out for me much anymore, but I'm sure it did as a child, right? I always mess things up. The trigger or situation when things don't go as planned or someone expresses frustration, the automatic thought is, I ruin everything. I can't be trusted. Self-doubt, guilt, and fear can be the emotions that arise. Body sensations, tension in the jaw, your stomach does flip-flops, right? Feeling small, where you just want to hide, right? You want to hide under a cave, under a rock. You never want to come out. The reframe is, I don't have to be perfect to be powerful. Mistakes are part of growth, not a sign of failure. Okay? The affirmation is, I learn, I grow, I rise again and again. The embodiment cue, place your hand over your third eye and one on your belly. Close your eyes and say the affirmation over and over like a vow, right? Vow that to yourself. So those are a few common thoughts and hopefully some new reframes. So if one or more than one stand out for you, Soul Tribe, I really want you to dive into this programming here. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. Cognitive therapy, when paired with soul work, becomes a sacred art of remembering who you are or releasing what no longer serves you. that old story. You're able to return home to your true self. You're able to stay present here in the moment. So this week, Soul Tribe, I invite you to witness your thoughts with love, to gently question them, and to begin rewriting your script one truth at a time. Thank you so much, Soul Tribe, for being here with me today. If you found this session helpful, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share with someone who could benefit from integrating these tools into their lives, because it is life changing. It is a game changer. Now there's no excuses, right? No excuses to not create the life that you want, because there are going to be times where old thoughts, old stories creep back in. But now you have all of the tools that you need, just like the magician, right? The magician in tarot has all of the tools that he needs to alchemize, to create the life that you want for yourself. You have the tools. Thank you again, Soul Tribe. Lots of love.